People always ask every single day, why is Trump not doing an executive order? What's going on? Why doesn't he see what he needs to get done? Well, if you watched the video right before this, you understood tonight that the epiphany has hit. Maybe it's the wearing off of the steroid drugs, as Nancy would say. But suddenly the president realizes he messed up. He messed up. He should have gotten the stimulus package done months ago. This was the ticket to get himself reelected, getting the economy back to and shooting on all pistons. He didn't get it done. And now he's scrambling. His back is against the wall. He understands he's going to get blamed because he didn't send out stimulus checks. He didn't get a relief to the airlines. He didn't get you enhanced unemployment benefits. He didn't help hazard pay and frontline workers. He messed up. And tonight he's scrambling. And guess what you're going to do, Purple Power? You're going to take advantage of it. You're going to get every single thing that you wanted to. You're going to push harder than ever before and get all those things you've wanted to because suddenly a person has realized he should have given to you all along. This is Purple Power. Hey, good evening, everybody. This is Purple Power and a special broadcast, so a 1 hour telecast that started with Check right before that. If you didn't watch that video, make sure you watch it right before this one. Go to the front channel, subscribe. It is a great evening. It's a great evening because something has finally hit, and the hit is the revelation, the epiphany, and also like this video. In this video, I'll be going over what you should be doing right now, tonight, and tomorrow to make sure that the message is hitting hard and hitting home very clearly. There's ultimately two factors that could impede your ability to succeed, and they still exist. I'll be covering them in this video as well. But the big breaking news that I detailed right before this one is epiphany. What's an epiphany? When someone realizes something they had not realized before, and they're like, oh my goodness, it's OMG. It's a fancy word for OMG. Tonight, yesterday, evening and this morning, the president had an OMG moment. He realized he had messed up, says a series of new reports, that he should not have called off negotiations for the stimulus package. Moreover, he should have gotten this done a long time ago. The epiphany hit, ironically, from a series of different forces. You know, if we told him something, he didn't hear it. If someone else was telling him, he wasn't hearing it. But when Jerome Powell, head of the Federal Reserve, spoke, when the Wall Street reacted, and when employment numbers came out, those three factors in no less than 24 hours hit hard and hit very clearly. The president learned this morning that the jobless numbers was no good. 868,000. It's a consecutive number. The number has not improved since the start of the pandemic. So despite what anyone is going to try to do, like Mark Meadows did 3 days ago, you can't spin new jobless claims. It's not a good number. A week ago, on a Friday, the jobs claims, the jobs numbers, this is new jobs creation, horrible. They're expecting a certain number. It was 200 to 300,000 less. Again, these are not good indicators, but then came Jerome Powell yesterday. Guess who told you Jerome Powell's comments were so critical? I did. Jerome Powell said that you're not spending enough stimulus. Now, this is not the first time Jerome Powell said this. Jerome Powell said this about 2 weeks ago, and I detailed it then. Jerome Powell said most first world countries are spending 30% of their GDP, which is a part of the economy and an economic indicator. 30% of their GDP, and the U.S. is only spending 15%. Translation, you're not spending enough money. So this week he said, actually Wednesday, he said, you know what? You're not spending a lot of money. And I don't know why you're not spending a lot of money. If you're worried about the national debt, this is something the national debt can afford. The national debt will be able to absorb this type of spending for stimulus. And there's nothing wrong about overspending on stimulus because ultimately the stimulus floats through the economy and helps the economy rebound faster than rebounding slower. What's important to understand is the path of rebound. And when you hear these people talking about a V-shaped rebound, the side of the V is very flat. I can't believe I'm doing this on camera, but that's basically what we're talking about. It might be a V, but it may be a very slow V where the economy recovers over many, many years, rather than a sharp V where the economy rebounds, pops right up after 6 to 8 months. You got a vaccine, bam. You got new jobs, bam. Manufacturing, everything's working. So Jerome Powell says, spend the stimulus. What are you doing? Don't be so cheap. Spend some stuff on your sister. That's what Jerome Powell basically said. And finally Trump's like, I like to spend. Okay, let's spend some money. So at that point, he realized he had made a mistake. And he really, really butchered it badly. Now, there was two other factors that were coming at him from the sides, and those were things that perhaps he didn't realize was going to happen either. One was the issue of a very bad poll number. He's going backwards in the polls. He's not improving in the polls. He's down 10%, and wherever he was down 6% last week, now it's 10% and is heading to 14% in some states. So it's not going the right direction. Second, last night's debate was a wash. Both did quite well for what they were trying to do, so no one won higher than the other, so there was no pop last night. Additionally, the other factor was the debate commission told him we are not going to have in-person debates. So he said, okay, I'm not showing up. So at this point, he has a Supreme Court nominee, which is, it's okay. It's something that excites his party. But the real thing that he needs to get going is stimulus. And ultimately, what does the Purple Power think of this? The Purple Power needs to use, what is that plane doing? It's like, Agatha Christie in the sky. What the Purple Power needs to do is really take advantage of this. As the sun drops, I'm going to go into pumpkin mode and become a jack-o'-lantern in a second. But what the Purple Power absolutely has to understand is you need to take advantage of the situation. You need to be pushing the president to understand, do executive orders right now. Why? Because he sees stimulus as a way to get reelected now. And you need that stimulus. And now his back is against the wall. Push him harder than ever with your social media campaigns. Seats for stimulus. Give us stimulus or we're voting you out. Give us executive orders for hazard pay, for rent, for food, for unemployment, and for stimulus checks. $1,200 stimulus checks, $2,400 for married couple, $1,200 for dependents. Don't give me that cheap $500 crap. Give me $1,200 dependent checks. You know what? Give me a more generous stimulus check than even what Nancy's proposing. You promised me, sir. Give it to me. I'll be very happy if you do it. $2,000. Let's do $2,000 checks. Let's do it right now. Put your name on it. Put it in the mail. I'm ready. I'm right there by the mailbox. Put it in the mail, Mr. President. You can do it. I had maybe 2 comments out of, 40,000 a day that said he can't do it. Let me clarify that for you. Yes, he can. The president can do stimulus checks because the money is not in Treasury. The president needs act of Congress to send out money that's in Treasury. This is not money that's in Treasury. The money's outside of Treasury. He's done it before. He did it with LWA. He took money that was unused for CARES Act 1, repurposed it, sent it over to FEMA and said, FEMA, hey, use this for LWA. Of course, FEMA has never had anything to do with unemployment assistance in the entire existence of FEMA. So why is FEMA doing unemployment? Because he said, you're the agency and here's the money. Go do it. He can do that for stimulus checks. He has the money for stimulus checks. He's identified the money for stimulus checks, $300 billion. Unused CARES Act 1 money. Send it out, sir. Send it out. Next, FPUC, he can send it out. The great news in the last 24 hours was he announced last night in those series of, or the day before, in those series of Twitter tirades that there's $167-ish billion of CARES Act 1 sitting money around that's on top of the 300. Well, that's enough for FPUC. Send it out, sir. Let's go going. Let's go. Get it over to FEMA. Have FEMA do another round of LWA. We're going. Guess what? This is only, October 8th? Routing times. 10 days. 10 days. You do it tonight, sir. I know it's Easter time. Yeah, okay, tomorrow. Let's do it tomorrow. So 10 days from tomorrow, October 9th, 10 plus 9 equals what? Larry Kudlow, what is 10 plus 9? Is it 6? 19. You can get the stimulus checks in people's hands before they go in the voting places. Yes, they may have already voted by mail by then, but for those that have not voted in polling places, they could get your stimulus check with your nice name on it and your nice signature on it before they go to vote. And that's exactly what Nancy doesn't want to have you have. Now, what's important to understand as we do this Purple Power push is that there's two factors that could impact you. The two factors that could impact you are for legislative pushes. And we're not talking yet about that. So for the executive order, there's no one that impedes you and the president, getting the president to do executive orders except himself. There is nothing against him preventing him to do executive orders but his mindset. And tonight, that epiphany has hit. Now, when we're talking about legislative path, there is blocks. Part of Congress is closed. Senate is closed with Mitch. He is not indicating he's going to reopen the Senate to October 19th. October 19th to send out stimulus checks 10 days thereafter, that's too long. It won't work. It won't help him. It won't help President. Second, you have Nancy. Nancy's going to do everything in her ability not to do a deal because she doesn't want this president to use the deal as his calling card to get himself reelected. So, hello, Mr. President, what could be more obvious than what's going on? Ironically, I haven't said this to you, but I think it's sort of obvious that if you get the president to do executive orders to send out stimulus checks, and he sends them out now, for example, in October, and then he loses, guess what? Well, after he loses in January, Nancy's going to go rush and get her bill approved, or sooner than that, and that bill has stimulus and checks in it. So you would get the executive order stimulus checks, and then you would get Nancy's stimulus checks, if you haven't realized that as well. That's why you have to be opportunistic now and really push him when he feels ready to be pushed. So with all that and more, there's a lot of twists and turns. Tomorrow morning, LALATE, a lot of major developments. I really appreciate your time and efforts. It's a night in which the light is dropping really quickly, so I don't want to glow any more than I am. I don't go to Nancy's hair salon, so I don't have the pumpkin hairstyle to go with any more glowing. But as always, as another helicopter comes to take me away, go to the Fuzz channel, subscribe because it's the best darn channel that there is. And also like this video. Coming up tomorrow morning, 8:30 a.m. Pacific Standard Time is Mornings LALATE, followed by a new episode of 28. As always, stay informed, stay smiling, SAFLA for more.